New official from the intelligence community claiming to have first-hand knowledge, sounding the alarm about President Trump's dealings with Ukraine. The White House responding moments ago. This as Republicans try to defend the president, now blasting Democrats for selectively releasing damaging text messages from diplomats. The key witness murdered. His testimony helped convict a former Dallas police officer in the murder of her neighbor. Now he's been shot to death. His family questioning who killed him and why. Also tonight, the shooting rampage manhunt. The violence at a bar overnight. Gunmen shooting 9 people, killing 4 of them. The hunt is on for 2 suspects. Police just releasing these new images. Oktoberfest explosions, the series of blasts, and the fireball after a transformer exploded. Festival customers escaping the flames. Trebek's revelation, the Jeopardy host, and his battle with cancer, saying he's not afraid to die, but he does have one regret. And Miracle Dog, 3 weeks after Hurricane Dorian hit, the 1-year-old dog rescued from under a pile of debris. How he survived, and the incredible drone technology that located him.
From ABC News, this is ABC World News Tonight.
And good evening. Thanks for joining us on this Sunday. I'm Tom Llamas. And we begin tonight with that breaking news in the impeachment investigation. ABC News, the first to report that a second whistleblower has come forward. An intelligence official claiming to have first-hand knowledge of President Trump's dealings with Ukraine, backing up the first whistleblower's complaint about pressuring Ukraine to investigate Joe Biden. The White House responding a short time ago. This as Republicans are accusing Democrat Adam Schiff of selectively releasing text messages from diplomats. But this weekend, one more Republican senator came forward to criticize the president. ABC's David Wright leads us off from the White House.
Tonight, after reports that a second whistleblower is coming forward to corroborate the initial complaint against President Trump, the White House is pushing back. It doesn't matter how many people decide to call themselves whistleblowers about the same telephone call, a call the president already made public, the press secretary said. It doesn't change the fact that he has done nothing wrong. An attorney who represents both whistleblowers tells ABC News his new client has first-hand knowledge of the president's behind-the-scenes effort to enlist the Ukrainian government to investigate Joe Biden and his son, potentially undermining one of the president's repeated defenses.
Well, the whistleblower was very inaccurate.
He got his information, I guess, second or third hand.
In other words, he didn't know what was on the call.
Today, the president's allies struggled to defend his public call for China to get involved, too.
China should start an investigation into the Bidens, because what happened in China is just about as bad as what happened with Ukraine.
The president asked China to investigate.
We know they're not, George. Come on.
Why can't you answer yes or no? Do you think it's appropriate?
I don't, because I don't think that's what he did. I don't think that's what he did.
But it was right there on camera.
The Democrats leading the impeachment inquiry are under pressure, too, accused of selectively releasing damaging text messages from diplomats out of context. Republican Mark Meadows of North Carolina claims the full testimony from the former U.S. Special Envoy to Ukraine directly undermined the salacious impeachment narrative Democrats are trying to sell you.
Why not release the full transcript?
We'll see what happens moving forward, but I have full confidence in Chairman Schiff.
Came out in support of an impeachment inquiry. And I wanted you to know.
Back home in their districts, members of Congress in tough re-election fights are hearing from their constituents. Democratic Congresswoman Alyssa Slotkin, who supports the impeachment inquiry, got heckled. President Trump won her Michigan district by nearly 7 points. Most Republican senators have refused to criticize the president's conduct. This weekend, Senator Susan Collins of Maine cautiously joined Mitt Romney and Ben Sasse, the only ones to break ranks. Collins criticized the president's outreach to China, but won't say what she thinks of his communications with Ukraine.
I don't want to prejudge the evidence. Plus, not all the evidence is in yet.
All right, David Wright joins us now live from the White House. David, let's go back to that second whistleblower. We know that second whistleblower has already met with the intelligence community's inspector general, and House Democrats are pushing this inquiry forward. They have subpoenaed the White House. Will the administration comply?
Tom, senior White House officials tell ABC News they have no intention of cooperating unless Speaker Nancy Pelosi holds a full vote of the House to authorize an impeachment inquiry. They say without such a vote, the White House is deprived of certain rights, including the right to have counsel present during all depositions. Democrats, however, say that the Constitution does not require them to take such a vote. Tom?
David Wright with those new developments this week. And David, thank you. We turn now to another major story we're following tonight. A key witness in the trial of a former Dallas police officer convicted of murdering her neighbor is now himself the victim of a homicide. Joshua Brown lived in that same apartment building, and his emotional testimony helped convict Amber Guyger. Tonight, investigators are looking for his killer. Was it linked to that testimony? Here's ABC's Kaylee Hartung.
Tonight, Dallas police trying to piece together a murder mystery that some are calling an execution.
The only thing we heard was one shot and then a double tap after that.
A silver sedan seen speeding away from a parking lot turned crime scene. The only victim carrying no form of identification. But tonight, police revealing that victim was Joshua Brown, a key witness whose testimony may have helped convict former Dallas officer Amber Guyger for the death of Botham Jean inside the apartment building where the three lived. Brown testified less than 2 weeks ago, at times emotional, remembering how he would hear his neighbor singing gospel hymns from his apartment across the hall. He also described hearing Jean's fatal confrontation with Guyger.
Do you recall ever hearing someone say, "Hey, put your hands up," at a loud tone?
No, ma'am.
But it was what Brown didn't hear that night that gave prosecutors reason to challenge Guyger, who testified that after she mistakenly entered Jean's apartment thinking it was her own, she gave him verbal commands to show his hands before shooting.
I won't even heard you say that.
I can't tell you why.
Well, it's because you didn't say it.
Tonight, activists now calling for justice for Brown and offering a $100,000 reward. His family, speaking through an attorney, say Brown was a reluctant witness and question if his death was connected to his testimony.
He was shot and left to die by someone who clearly had an axe to grind. It's important that we answer who that person is, because right now there are strong implications, at least, no evidence, but strong implications that this may be retaliation for his testimony in the Amber Guyger trial.
Tom, authorities have made no connection between Brown's testimony and his murder. They've been very tight-lipped about this investigation. That silver sedan, the only lead they're sharing. There's no physical description of any suspects. Tom?
His family has a lot of questions tonight, though. All right, Kaylee, thank you. Next to that manhunt in Kansas City for two men who allegedly opened fire inside a crowded bar, shooting 9 people, killing 4 of them. A short time ago, police releasing these new images of the alleged suspects. The bodies of the victims now taken away in a coroner's van. ABC's Stephanie Ramos is on the scene tonight.
Tonight, the search is on for a pair of gunmen police say are seen here in these just released surveillance images. Witnesses say the two walked into a packed Kansas City, Kansas bar overnight and opened fire. At least 9 people were shot, 4 of them killed. Their ages ranging from 20s to 50s.
We went inside, we found 4 Hispanic males that had been shot and were deceased. Outside, we located 5 more victims that were all transported to area hospitals.
Authorities say the incident may have stemmed from a dispute between one of the suspects and the bartender hours before the shooting. But just after 1 a.m., witnesses say the 2 people may have entered from the back of the Tequila KC bar, both armed with handguns, at least 40 people inside.
I can't think, why somebody would want to do this.
Investigators are now interviewing witnesses, trying to piece together what exactly happened.
Tom, this neighborhood here in Kansas City, Kansas is in shock. This is an extremely tight-knit community. 2 of the shooting victims are actually related. I spoke to the family and they tell me the 2 men, right now, one of them is in the hospital and the other didn't survive. Tom.
Stephanie Ramos for us tonight. Stephanie, thank you. Now to the series of explosions in an underground electrical vault causing chaos at an Oktoberfest celebration in Southern California. First the explosion and then this giant fireball. You see it right there, and even more blasts happen. Patrons escaping out into the streets, mostly unharmed, but 5 people were hurt, including 2 firefighters. ABC's Kana Whitworth is on the scene in Huntington Beach.
Tonight, investigators near Los Angeles pinpointing the cause of a series of terrifying blasts that sent fireballs 70 feet in the air during an Oktoberfest celebration.
You could see the fire roll up from the sides of the building.
As many as 1,000 people scrambling to escape.
That man pulled me out of my booth, and then that was where the final explosion was.
Officials saying one of those 3 underground transformers caused the blast, shooting the flames and sending a 50-pound metal lid flying. One of the owners of the festival hall alerted firefighters to a strange smell and immediately started evacuating people. His sister telling ABC News he may have saved lives. Your brother escorts the fire department down to look at the transformer, and that's when the explosion
Yeah, because the minute he went to go open the door and he said it's right over here, and he turned right when that happened, that first explosion hit him and he just caught on fire.
Her brother and 4 others, including 2 firefighters, rushed to the hospital with burns.
Tom, we're getting our first look inside the festival area. Look at the damage to the building right here and take a look at these lights. They're absolutely torched. Now, they tell me this area was completely full of people just minutes before that explosion. Tom?
Incredible. More people weren't hurt. All right, Kana, thanks so much for that. We head overseas now to some outrage in the UK. A 19-year-old man killed in a car accident when his motorcycle collided with another car. The driver of that car, the wife of a U.S. diplomat, and she's apparently fled the country under a cloud of suspicion. The parents of the 19-year-old are calling for justice, but the American woman is claiming diplomatic immunity. ABC's Jennifer Eccleston is in London.
Tonight, outrage mounting in England after an American diplomat's wife left the country after becoming a suspect in a deadly car crash.
I was just utterly broken, inside and out. Everything hurts, day and night.
The parents of 19-year-old Harry Dunn demanding justice after that woman allegedly struck their son's motorcycle in August. The suspect left the country, now claiming diplomatic immunity.
I can't believe she's living with herself doing this. How can you just be like that? Just get on a plane and go.
The 42-year-old unnamed suspect was allegedly driving out of an American Air Force base on the wrong side of the road. Police saying the woman initially cooperated, telling them she had no plans to leave the UK. The American Embassy in London expressing their deepest sympathies and offer condolences to the family, saying cases like this are considered carefully, but immunity is rarely waived. Tonight, the Foreign Secretary urging the U.S. Embassy to reconsider.
Tonight, that family imploring the American suspect to come back and issuing a direct appeal to President Trump to rescind her immunity. Tom?
Jennifer Eccleston in London for us tonight. Jennifer, thank you. We want to turn to politics now in the race for 2020. Senator Bernie Sanders is back home in Vermont tonight after suffering a heart attack and having 2 stents implanted. He says he'll be at the next debate just 9 days away, but will he have to slow down his usual frenetic pace? And how could this illness shake up the Democratic race? Here's ABC's Rachel Scott.
Tonight, Senator Bernie Sanders resting at home, taking a full weekend off for the first time in months. Arriving back home in Vermont after his campaign said he suffered a heart attack, his family waiting at the door. The senator usually keeps a tight and intense campaign schedule, on his feet, packing as many as 5 events in a day, often in different cities. Earlier this week, during a Nevada event, the senator asked for a seat.
Give me a chair up here for a moment. I'm going to sit down here. It's been a long day here.
Later, undergoing an emergency heart procedure, doctors inserting 2 stents to clear a blocked artery.
How are you feeling?
Leaving the hospital, Sanders had this message for supporters.
And I'm feeling so much better. See you soon on the campaign trail.
There's always a question is he too old to be running for president? And with Bernie Sanders, way he conveys energy and what level of enthusiasm he seems to generate, I think he can overcome that.
The senator raising more than any other Democrat this year in a single quarter, hauling in $25 million. At 78, he is the oldest candidate in the race. The 3 early Democratic frontrunners are all in their 70s, and they have strong support in key early voting states. A new Fox News poll shows former Vice President Joe Biden with a commanding lead in South Carolina, ahead of Senator Elizabeth Warren and Sanders.
All right, Rachel joins us now live, and we know Senator Sanders' campaign said he will be on the stage at the next Democratic debate, which is in a little over a week. Is there any indication he'll do any campaign events before then?
Tom, the senator's schedule between now and that next debate still very much up in the air tonight. But as for his campaign, well, it is trying to move forward full steam ahead. His campaign will be out with a new policy proposal first thing tomorrow morning.
Tom?
All eyes on the Sanders recovery. All right, Rachel, thank you. We do move on now to the forecast and a soggy start to the work week across much of the east as a new storm is brewing out west before heading across the country. ABC senior meteorologist Rob Marciano is here. And Rob, you were just telling me this new storm, we're actually talking snow now.
Yeah, our second significant snowstorm of the season.